Boy, I have never heard of such an outrage. What the heck is going on here? What is Operation Health? Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Different Breed, and today we'll be discussing Ubisoft's new move in Rainbow Six Siege with Operation Health. I'll give an overview on what it is and what my opinions on it are. Make sure to stick around to the end where we will go over some questions and concerns that you may have in general about Operation Health. If you haven't subscribed yet and you find yourself liking this content, consider subscribing. There may just be more content like this in the future. Winky face. We have a lot of content to go over, so sit back, buckle up, and get ready to be overloaded with information. Ubisoft has made the decision to work towards a better future. They decided to cancel this next season, Hong Kong, and move into Operation Health. This decision has a huge bag of mixed results, most of which are seen as the negative ones, mainly because negative views are typically the ones to speak up more and voice their concerns. What I don't understand is that in the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, all I see are people complaining over and over. Even before this announcement, so many complaints. And now Ubisoft is taking the initiative to fix all these problems that people are complaining about, and then they complain about that? Like, what? How are you going to complain and then complain about them dealing with their complaint? Alright, that's enough complaining about complaints. Let's go over what Operation Health is supposed to bring us. Since just saying that they're going to cancel the expected DLC and they are going to fix the bugs that we have in the current game isn't enough for people, they have mapped out what we should be expecting to get over these next 3 months. The first month is all about technical improvements. The second month is all about their new development process. And the third month is all about fixing bugs. They are calling these the 3 pillars. But what should we actually be expecting during these months? Well, I'm glad you've asked. During the technical improvement month, we can be looking forward to getting one-step matchmaking, 100% server-based features, and faster servers. One-step matchmaking is a simplified and faster flow than our current system. Currently, we have two-step matchmaking. So what does that mean? When you go into queue, the game will first search for your teammates, and then when they are all found, it'll look for a 5-man team with about the same MMR as your team, which, if you didn't know, means matchmaking rank/rating. With the new one-step matchmaking, the game will search for all 10 players at the same time and pick those with similar MMR. Then it'll split up the teams evenly based on the MMR to get the most complete balanced teams. Don't worry, this does not mean that parties will get split up. They will remain together. This should theoretically decrease queue times since all the players will be searched at the same time instead of finding 5 and then another 5. And it'll place more evenly matched players because it'll see everybody's MMR and separate them appropriately. Oh, and we'll be able to browse the shop and customize our operators as we sit there and wait for our next match. That'll definitely be nice, and I cannot wait for that. And even if the queue times are a little bit longer, that may go unnoticed because we will finally be able to do something with our time other than watch paint dry. But really, queue times should be faster. 100% server-based features can really improve this game, depending on what they really put on the server side. They said that this game has already transitioned to dedicated servers for matches, but the VoIP system still has remained peer-to-peer. Maybe this could mean the end of silent people. I don't know, but that would be fantastic if it did. Being a highly competitive game, the issue we have with communicating, like when people's mics are just too quiet and they can't be heard at all, results into some huge problems that really affect gameplay. But what are we really talking about moving server side? Are the gadgets now going to be server side? Like smoke grenades? I hear a lot of complaints about those. Xavier Marquise, the creative director of Siege, said, "For the first pillar, we are going to remove any part of the core that's still using peer-to-peer systems. This is something that we want to erase and eradicate so that everything is server-based. The main focus is to increase the stability and connectivity of all of our players. We want to turn the game into something that's more scalable for the future, so that the game will continue to develop for years. It's an investment for the long term." And that sounds great. They're thinking about the long term for Siege. They are taking this time with Operation Health and making this game more scalable so that it can continue to grow. I've been hearing about changes to everybody's hitboxes lately, and I'm really hoping that we will be seeing this happen in the first month. Now, I'm not part of the technical test server, but I have heard that they have rolled these out on it already. We all know about the issue with Blitz. Well, good news! The hitboxes are now going to be based upon the human silhouette, and headgear or anything other than the actual body will not be included. I'm hoping that these new hitboxes roll out sometime within this month, but don't quote me on it. And finally, during the first month, they are going to improve their servers. Does this mean that we won't have any potato server memes? I think not. These will always be around. But they are talking about having more reliable servers, which is great. And they are talking about increasing their tick rate. So what is tick rate? Tick rate is basically a server's FPS. The easiest way to explain it is that the tick rate is the amount of times the server sends you information about the game each second. For example, with a 30 tick rate, the server is sending you 30 packets of information like player movement, bullet movement, etc. to your computer, which then shows you what is going on. This means the higher tick rate the server has, the more information that you have, the smoother things turn out. So what you're saying is that all, especially competitive, games should have the highest tick rates, right? Well, yes, but that's where the issue of money comes in. If a company, let's say, doubles its tick rate, then that'll double the bandwidth, which then increases the cost. Now that Siege is continuing to grow and they are getting more money from the game, like I spoke about in my Season Pass video, they are looking to improve the game, increasing their cost in order to get better performance for us. Back in January, they increased the tick rate from 30 to 60, which is a great improvement, but because, you know, it's Ubisoft, that brought about more bugs and glitches that they weren't looking for. So they dropped it down from 60 to 50, but now they are looking to properly bring the tick rate back up to 60 and make it more stable and consistent. The second month is all about their back-end systems. We will not be seeing any changes on our part of the game. They are updating the way that they deploy patches and updates. This is good and how they should have done it from the start. Right now, since the start, they have been deploying everything at the same time, meaning that they have been pushing out content and fixes to the PC platform and the console platform at the same time. This is good in terms of keeping the game versions the same, but it is not good in the way of making sure that things work. The problem with pushing things to PC and console at the same time is that it takes a long time because of the consoles. So if something goes wrong and a patch needs to come out, it will take longer to fix, which could have been solved if they released it to PC first and discovered the issues. The reason it takes long for consoles is because when pushing out patches, they have to go through a certification from Microsoft or Sony, which takes some time. And if the companies find anything wrong with the patches, they can straight up deny them, which obviously causes a delay. With wanting to keep everybody on the same playing field, which makes sense in the big picture, makes the game-breaking and non-game-breaking fixes for all platforms take longer. Then when they are finally pushed, there can still be unseen errors that were only found because of the amount of times that the new patch has been used. That is where we are now, waiting and waiting for new patches to fix the bugs that people complain about. Ubisoft is finally taking the initiative to change how they are doing things, which in turn should make for a better gaming experience for everybody on all platforms. Their first move towards this better future is implementing a 3-step development system. Instead of going live right away, they will be pushing out their new updates and patches to the technical test server. Then after they feel comfortable with how those are going, they will be pushing those into the PC platform. The reason for this is because PC updates can be pushed right away. There is no approval process. So PC will be used as sort of a second test. Because there is no approval process, if something is found to be wrong, they can instantly send out a patch to fix it. Then when everything is smooth on PC, they will bundle everything up, send it over to Microsoft and Sony for approval, and then they can release it to console. If done correctly, this system will make the gameplay a lot better with a lot less bugs for everybody. Another thing that they are implementing during the second month is an on-off switch. What the heck is this? Well, it's pretty simple. With this in place, they will be able to revert back to the last saved. Control-Z, undo. This will be in place if something catastrophic is happening and they need to turn off everything they did in the last patch in order to make gameplay better for everybody. Now, when there is a game-breaking bug, they can just turn off the newest patch, which is what caused the bug, and the bug will be no more. This will give them more time to truly get the right fix in and then reapply whatever it is they had before. That is all for the second month. More so back-end stuff that most players will not notice, but is really good for the game and everybody playing it. During the third month, they are going to fix bugs. Ubisoft has said, "We have made an effort to prioritize our fixes based on what has been the highest impact, but the highest impact was not always aligned with what the community felt were the biggest issues. We will be adjusting the bug fixing process to place community feedback on our known issue as higher priority." They said that they closely monitor the Rainbow Six subreddit and the Rainbow Six Twitter, which is a good thing. That is where I believe they are getting the most call out for their bugs. What they're saying is that their developers are seeing some bugs and issues as high priority, but people who play the game see other bugs and issues as more of a higher priority. Everybody has their own viewpoint on situations, and the development team is now going to be looking at what we are expressing as top priority. This is definitely a step in the right direction, because if more and more people are seeing issues and see them not getting fixed, there is more of a possibility for them just to drop the game entirely because they see it unplayable for them. Fixing bugs that are high in the community's list, plus rolling out patches quicker and testing everything out, creating a more stable game, will definitely allow this game to continue to grow. What I think happens is that Ubisoft develops a lot of games very close together, and because of that, they don't really throw a ton of support at every single game that they develop. The success and continued success of this game has led to Ubisoft's rethinking its current strategy on Siege. I know that they did not expect to see this game grow so much. Alexander Remy, who is the brand director of Siege, said, "There's some aspects that you can't plan ahead and think about in advance, but to be absolutely transparent with you, the success of this game has been a huge surprise. The fact that we have twice as many players now as we did at launch, it's a pattern that you don't see very often in games. There are very few examples of games having a bigger player base a year, or a year and a half after release. When we launched, we didn't have those expectations, which is the best surprise we could hope to get. So now the vision is that the game is growing and the player base is growing, and that shifts some of our priorities. Now we can think 5 or even 10 years down the road to invest and establish the game for the longest time possible. This is great that they are now seeing that this game has a future and are willing to spend more on it. Just like I said in the past, if you want this game to grow, you have to show Ubisoft that you want this game to grow, and give them a reason to continue to support it. The more money Siege generates for the company, the more the company is willing to spend on it to keep it alive, which is what this season is all about. What does this mean for the coming content though? Well, because of this change, the dev team had to rethink their current roadmap and they came up with a new one. We are almost done with Season 1's Jackal and Mira. Now we are moving into Operation Health. Kinda just went over all that. After that is Season 3. We will now be having 3 ops instead of 2. This is to make up for lost time. So what season is essentially cancelled? The Polish season. Which is interesting since, you know, they have a pro league there. They do have a reason for this one though, saying, "We did not cancel Hong Kong as we've already made progress on its development. South Korea's plan was maintained as a result of assessing our development team's needs and capabilities. We determined that we are better able to deliver the content from South Korea's season by keeping it in the original time frame that it was scheduled." Makes sense, I guess. But either way, it still sucks. And make sure you give up hope too, because they publicly stated on their Twitter account that they will not be making a Polish map. So Season 3 will come with Hong Kong map, 2 Hong Kong operators, and 1 Polish operator. Then Season 4 will be in the same format with a South Korea map, 2 South Korea operators, and 1 Polish operator. Both the last 2 seasons will be getting a mid-season reinforcement like we have come to know. I just wonder how that is all going to play out with our new development system. Will PC get a bunch of smaller patches adding up to console's reinforcement? Only time will tell. I've seen a lot of people who own Season Pass complain about this decision. They think that we should get compensated for something. I just don't know what for. We are still getting everything that we paid for. It just comes later. Now we will have 3 ops to choose from to play with a week early instead of 2. The maps were never part of the Season Pass, as they were always free to release to everybody at the same time. The other perks of the Season Pass still apply as well. I just don't see what all the problem is if you own a Season Pass. I own 2. I'm currently fine with this. In fact, I encourage it. And I really want this Operation Health to succeed. The better the game gets, the more player base it can grow, the longer it'll stay around. Even after a year and a half of playing this game, I still don't want to stop. Although I do encourage them with Operation Health, I do wish that they would have spoken up earlier. I think one of the main reasons for this outrage is because it was unexpected. Had they told us ahead of time, I don't think it would have been so bad. But they had us hyped for Hong Kong, and we were just weeks away, and they dropped this on us instead. Even when asked why they took so long, they didn't tell us what was really going on, and they didn't really give a real answer. Saying things like, "We were not satisfied at the pace at which we were able to deliver major improvements and fixes," or the decision, was not just made, but we recognized the importance of it following the first couple of patches in Operation Velvet Shell. One of the theories that I saw was that they were not happy with the operators or the maps that we currently develop and wanted some more time to work on it. I don't know if that was really the case. I mean, they have delivered 5 seasons to us already with no problem in producing content. I believe they genuinely have been working away and realizing that these patches they are doing and have to keep doing are not keeping up with the growing community, and they see that they need to improve upon the game before they can keep adding more content to it. I applaud them for recognizing that and taking the steps to rectify the issues. I'm just hoping that this is going to work. They do plan on being more communicative as well. They have plans in order that will be known and become available at the end of May. Hopefully they will be updating us on progress that has been made and what they are planning on doing next instead of just telling us what has been done. There isn't going to be a new map for a reason. That being, the level design team is going to be diving into the current maps we have and fixing the bugs and glitches that currently reside there. And to wrap up some final questions, ranks will be reset for this new season, and we will be keeping Season 1 skins until Season 3 hits. I am excited to see what the dev panel will bring during the Pro League event this weekend. I'll happily keep you informed too, although I will be doing photography so it won't be instant. If you like this content and want me to continue it, consider supporting me. Use my links in the description to purchase items that you were already planning on purchasing, or purchase something totally new. I'll get a kickback from anything that you buy using the links. If you want to see the source content from where I pulled all my facts from, they are in the description. Keep in touch with me on Twitter. Watch and chat with me over on Twitch. As always, stay different, everybody.